As I say, we're coming into Christmas. We're all trying to hang on. We got a big year coming up in 2024. I think it's going to be a year from hell. So we got to get ready for it, but we don't want to despair. And I want to leave you with this thought, a personal reflection. I just remember clearly what it was like to feel really alone in this fight, when I was a kid. This today, what's going on, this is not that. We are not alone. And the only thing now, that's what kind of the purpose of this show. The only thing that can change that can blow us apart, that can divide the clans of tradition, the only thing is us. Francis can't control that. This is up to us. So we got to make sure it doesn't happen, right? It's Christmas. And honestly, I am so filled with hope looking at this situation, even despite how bad everything is. Because you know why? Because they threw everything they had at us, at tradition, at the old church, at the old man, everything, tried everything. But look around you. They're the ones who are growing old. They're the ones who are running out of ideas and running out of steam. And they're just becoming angry now and bitter. While we, and by we I mean the traditional Catholic movement, the clans worldwide, we, on the other hand, are absolutely full of life. We're animated by hopeful expectations for the future. We have an army of homeschool moms out there bringing up their kids in the traditional faith. Our chapels bursting at the seams with babies, young families. Everybody's talking about it all over the world, right? Although the revolution tried everything to make the remnant of believers despair, they failed. They failed miserably because we're still here. The little people, the clans of tradition all over the world. We have to keep that together. Nothing is more important than that. Honestly, I get it. It's really dark right now. But the thing is, friends, this is what we need to keep in mind in everything that we do. God and history know how this ends. Only God and history know how this will end. The first Christians saw the first pope deny Christ 3 times. They saw one of the original 12 bishops betray him and then kill himself in despair. They saw God crucified, whipped, scourged, crucified and die on a cross. And then they saw their children, their little kids, become food for lions. But they kept the faith. And they kept the faith without the consolation of knowing what we now know, that their blood and the blood of their children was watering the tree of Christendom. It would flower into the greatest civilization the world has ever seen. And that's what I mean by we don't know God's will. We don't know. And we just have to keep on keeping on. There was no pope at all. I'm talking about Christmas. There was no pope at all when the shepherds went over to Bethlehem to see God reset the world. There was no pope at all when 3 kings, 3 wise men, cast themselves on the ground in faith and love of the Redeemer of the world. And if you've ever been to Bethlehem, you know that a person has to actually stoop down, become almost like a little child, just to get through the opening of the place where Christ was born. And maybe that tells us something, right? It's a lowly place for lowly people, for little people, who maybe don't have all the answers, just like us, but who at least are willing to become like little children, to see the little baby lying in the manger and to worship him as king. And what's happening in Rome right now, what was happening in Rome back then when Christ was born, they didn't know, they didn't care. Pagans were doing pagan things, right? Today, what's happening in Rome? I don't know. Really, friends, who cares? What matters most are the things that we believe. What matters most is keeping the faith. What matters most is staying together and realizing and proclaiming that Christ the King is born. And we still believe. And we will never stop believing. And because of that confidence and because of that faith and because of that love, we can say with certitude, absolute certitude, that this God-forsaken revolution has failed. That Herod will fail again. That Caesar will fail again. But that the child of Bethlehem is King of the world. And on that, dear friends, glory to God, right? Glory to God in the highest, and on earth peace to the clans of goodwill. Merry Christmas, and God bless you all.